Okay, here we are looking at week 10 of the weekly waiver wire report. Behind me is RT Sports, and what you see is a depth chart of the Miami Dolphins. Before we get into the week 10 weekly waiver wire report, we want to thank everybody that tuned into us this year. This is our last show for the 2022 season. Sorry, my schedule is getting packed and I cannot continue to do it in week 11 through 18, 17. I'm just sorry, man. It just can't happen. We did have a great year, though. We started the year out with our NFL preview shows. Thousands of you guys packed it out and watched all those shows. Thank you for everybody that watched those shows. We're going to do NFL preview shows next year in 2023, and we'll be back doing the weekly waiver wire report next year. Fortunately, that's it. But we did have a successful season. We had over 17,000 people in the last 60 days tune into our show, which is amazing. And I'll tell you what, we had over 7,600 people watch every single minute over the last 60 days. That's impressive. I'll tell you what, I just want to thank everybody. If you want to continue seeing our shows as we come out with them next year, I'll tell you what, all you got to do is subscribe or like our show. We'll make sure you get a chance to watch every minute. But we're here to talk about the waiver wire report, week 10, the NFL season. So let's check it out. As you can see behind me here, man, Miami Dolphins got some good running backs. They got Raheem Mostert, Myles Gaskin, who hasn't played much this year, and Jeff Wilson, who came over here from San Francisco. He got traded basically because they got Christian McCaffrey. And this guy here, Salvon Ahmed, I'll tell you what, he's a good running back too. So this is one, you want to get somebody in this backfield. So I would check out, see if Jeff Wilson's available. If not, keep an eye out, keeping a radar out for Myles Gaskin and Salvon Ahmed in case there's an injury. Let's go check out some other guys you want to keep an eye out for the rest of the year. Okay, here we have behind us the Baltimore Ravens backfield. Look at week 10 of the NFL season. There's not a lot of running backs that are going to be available on anybody's running waiver wire. So guys you want to look at to see if they're available going into a bye is Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards is going to have a big time influence on what happens with the Baltimore Ravens throughout the rest of the year. Why? Because Jake Dobbins is hurt. Kenyon Drake's been playing great. Look at some of his stats. Matter of fact, let's go take a look at him. As you can see here, man, last 2 weeks, he's had some good numbers. If Kenyon Drake's on your waiver wire, go get him. 16.7 in week 8. 25 points basically in week 9, 24 and 93 for 2 touchdowns, caught 2 balls for 16 yards on 2 targets. He did even better the week before. That's why I like this backfield. J.K. Dobbins is coming back in week 13, 14, somewhere in there. He had a serious knee injury. I'm not sure I'd run up and pick him up off your waiver wire. He is on a lot of waiver wires. Man, he's going to be out for another 4, maybe 5 weeks. He had a bad knee injury to start the year. Did give it enough time to heal. Now he's back on IR. I'm not sure I want to be involved in that. But I tell you what I do want to be involved in. Gus Edwards is coming back from a knee injury. Pulled his hamstring. I think you'll see him in a couple weeks because they're on bye this week. Kenyon Drake is playing well. Not so much sure I want anything to do with these guys, Justice Hill and Mike Davis. I'll tell you who else I like is the Carolina backfield. I'll tell you what, if you can go out and get yourself some Chuba Hubbard, he might be on your waiver wire. He's been hurt for the last couple weeks. You should consider picking him up also. Let's go take a look at some wide receivers we like for week 10 of the NFL season. Okay, we just talked about Chuba Hubbard. He's a backup running back for this guy here, Devontae Foreman. Why do we like him? Because I'll tell you what, he's been hurt for the last couple weeks. They're playing on Thursday night against the Atlanta Falcons. I think he's going to be active. If he's on your waiver wire, go get him. But at wide receivers, what we're talking about in this segment, and I'll tell you what, we told you last week he was our sleeper pick, Terrence Marshall Jr. You should have went out and got him. Let's take a look and see what he did. Okay, here's the stat line for Terrence Marshall Jr. We told you to go out and get him last week. 2 weeks ago, we told you maybe you keep him on your radar. Here he is. He's producing. Why? Injury. Christian McCaffrey's gone. They got a quarterback that's willing to throw the ball downfield. They could be replacing that quarterback later this year with Baker Mayfield, and this is Baker Mayfield's favorite target apparently. So as you can see what happened here last week, 14.3 points. And against Cincinnati, 3 targets, 53 yards, and a touchdown on 6 targets. Week before, he had 9 targets and got you 12.7 points. I'm going to tell you what, Terrence Marshall played at LSU with some really good wide receivers. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and this guy down there. And I'll tell you right now, man, he's a good player. I think he's coming into his own. If you get a chance to go out and get Terrence Marshall Jr., you probably missed your chance. I'll tell you what, you should have did it when we told you about him 2 weeks ago. It was our sleeper pick last week. Let's take a look at some other wide receivers for 10 NFL season. Okay, how about this guy, Mecole Hardman? We've been telling you about him for the last few weeks. Look what he's done, man. He's coming into his own. He had 12 points in week 5, week 6, 13. Then he had 28 amazing points in week 7. Last week, after the bye, got you almost 20 points, 6 receptions, 79 yards, and a TD on 9 targets. Look, we've been telling you about this guy for a while now. You get a chance, go out and get yourself some Mecole Hardman because he's going to have an amazing rest of the season. Let me show you someone else you should have went out and got. Okay, here's another depth chart you need to know about because of the injuries to Mike Williams and Keenan Allen of the Los Angeles Chargers, formerly the San Diego Chargers. Tough to remember. These guys have moved. They're San Diego's Chargers my whole life. But here they are. Let's take a look at some of these guys. If you get a chance, Joshua Palmer's the guy to have. Last week, he had over 100 yards receiving on 9 catches. You should have went out and got him. We told you about him all year long. And we told you about DeAndre Carter. Look, this guy's a pretty good player. When Mike Williams and Keenan Allen come back, he's going to go back to the bench. But who knows when they're coming back? They're playing a tough San Francisco 49ers. You've got to go out and look at one of these guys if they're on your waiver wire. Let's take a look and see what DeAndre Carter did last week. As you can see right here, we recommended as one of our sleepers DeAndre Carter. Played against Atlanta. Now he's playing against San Francisco, then KC, Arizona, and Las Vegas. If Keenan Allen and Mike Williams aren't playing in these weeks, he's going to have a big week. Last week he had 10.3 points, 5 catches for 53 yards on 6 targets. Look, it's a sleeper pick. If those guys aren't playing, Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, this is the guy that's going to pick up the slack along with Joshua Palmer. Go out, get him. Let's go over and take a look at some of the tight ends we like for week 10 of the NFL season. Okay, here's a guy we've been talking about at tight end for weeks now. Back in week 6, we told you going into week 7, if Cameron Brate wasn't going to play, you need to pick up K-Dot. We told you back in week 8, if you got Cameron Brate wasn't playing, you need to go back and pick up K-Dot. Look, in week 9, he comes out, gets you 17.8 points, 5 catches for 68 yards, a touchdown on 6 targets. Look, if the starter's not there, the backup comes in. This kid's a rookie out of Washington. Tom Brady likes to throw the ball to the tight ends as much as the wide receivers, and look what he did. I tell you what, he's only got 1 week before his bye against Seattle. It's a great matchup at home, and I think K-Dot is someone you should be looking at 10 of the NFL season. There is another player we like. We told you about Greg Dulcich for Denver. We've been talking about him all year. He's killing it. Go out and get him. He's another rookie. I'm sure he'll do well this week. And a guy we've been talking about all year who's on bye this week is Tyler Conklin. So if he's on your waiver wire, you can pick him up, stash him on your bench for a couple weeks. Maybe he'll come back and help you. And a guy that we've been wondering where he's been all year is this guy. How about Noah Fant? Look what he did last year. He finally comes on against Arizona. He plays against a tough Tampa Bay defense before he goes on bye, but he had 5 catches for 96 yards on 6 targets. It could be a guy you want to keep on your radar, because basically going to Tampa and being on bye. Keep Noah Fant on your radar, because I tell you what, Seattle likes to throw the ball at tight end. He might be a sleeper pick coming up for playoffs. Let's go take a look at some quarterbacks we like for week 10 and in the playoffs. Okay, the playoffs are coming up. Maybe you need a backup quarterback. Maybe your quarterback got hurt. I mean, Josh Allen's looking at some sort of elbow injury. Maybe you better find a backup in case he's not going to play. We don't know. We film these things on Mondays and Tuesdays. He could have an injury. Why not Daniel Jones? Let's take a look and see what he did. He's coming off a bye this week playing Houston. And they give up a lot of points to running backs. Daniel Jones can run the ball. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if this guy went out and had a big game running the ball and throwing the ball. So Daniel Jones is someone we like. And another guy we like is someone that might be on your radar or waiver wire. How about Deshaun Watson? He's coming back for week 13. We're going into week 10. If you want a good backup quarterback, maybe one that can play later in the year in case you have a tough matchup with your starter, why not see if Deshaun Watson for the Cleveland Browns is there? He might be on your waiver wire, and I'd be looking to pick him up for a backup quarterback. Let's go take a look at some kickers and defenses we like for week 10. Okay, if you need a good defense, because Denver was on bye last week, a lot of people had to cut him. I had to cut him in the league because we have to play a defense. I'll tell you what, they got a good schedule coming up against the Tennessee Titans, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Carolina Panthers. I would consider picking them up. If you need a good kicker, why not see if any of the people that were on bye last week have a kicker that they had to cut? You know, Dallas had to cut their kicker, Brett Maher. The New York Giants had to maybe his kicker, Graham Gano. And how about the kicker for the San Francisco 49ers, Robbie Gould? Man, they all may have had to been cut. Maybe they're on your waiver wire, and I'll tell you what, I'd go out and pick any one of those three kickers up and put them in my lineup this week for week 10 of the NFL season. Well, that's it for the 2022 season. We've had a great year. We've had a lot of people watch our stuff. Next time you see me, you'll see us doing an NFL draft preview show in April. We'll show you the rookies coming into the league. They're going to help you win your fantasy championships for years to come. Make sure you tune in for those shows coming in April. Please like or subscribe podcast, and we'll make sure you get to watch those shows. Good luck. I'm Buster Brown. The show is called Redemption Rehab. See you next year.